Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS podcast with hosts John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook live show here. Trade deadline day, James. And you and I knew with the deadline being at 6 o'clock Eastern time, we would be dealing with a little bit of a mess today here, not knowing which players were going to be on rosters come roster lock here today. When we did the podcast for this morning, we were still unsure what players would or wouldn't be on the slate. Have had some moves since then that have, obviously had an impact on maybe where we go when it comes to tonight, or maybe not where we go when it comes to tonight, how we're approaching everything. Just before we went live, the Chicago White Sox traded our favorite burger flipper, Jake Burger, to the Miami Marlins here just moments ago. So things getting shooken up in Chicago here. We'll see if more trades come down the pipeline. Verlander traded, not on today's slate, but now he's a member of the Astros. We've just seen some guys flip-flop here over the last 48 hours or so.
Yeah, some trades not going through either. AKA Red Sox great Eduardo Rodriguez. This one is fascinating. Fascinating story that he would choose to not go to LA to possibly win a World Series. But if you remember, he did allow that big Yasiel Puig home run where he slammed. Wasn't that Erod where he slammed the glove down on the mound? Maybe he just has PTSD from that, so he can't pitch. Because that was in LA, if I recall.
He was also sort of blamed as the catalyst for Houston's comeback against them in the playoffs a few years ago. He struck out Correa and then did like the timer thing on his wrist, like time's up, or whoever the heck knows what was going on. Basically taunted them after a strikeout. And from that moment on, Houston just flipped the series on the Red Sox, and they didn't. I think they lost like every game after that. When the Astros ended up going to the thing there. So Josh Harrison DFA, not a DFS play, but obviously making some room there. Phillies making some moves here today. So Erod, not big for the moment. Maybe he had that mysterious absence.
Yep,
last year. So came out firing this year, looked unhittable, got hurt, came back, hasn't really been the same guy, and now he's vetoing trades to the team that has the second best odds to win the World Series. So would rather hang out in Detroit as a loser than go to LA and be a winner. That's fine. Some guys can't handle that stress, right? Zach Greinke almost left baseball due to anxiety issues. So who knows if that's something similar to that. Maybe Erod's just dealing with, didn't want to make the move. So, staying with the Tigers at least for now. So
that's a good point about anxiety. We saw a former NBA player, lottery pick, Royce White, not want to fly and just quit never play in the NBA again. So we've seen the anxiety from. But back to today's slate, John. 14 games as usual. Sorry. Little side tangent for everybody there. Today's an interesting slate because, again, trade deadline day. We don't know in the next hour things are going to obviously potentially ramp up, but a lot of interesting names. Something you and I talked about on the podcast this morning in terms of ownership of one pitcher, particularly John, is definitely coming through. One pitcher that may or may not be good anymore and may be completely washed. Very highly owned, and we'll get to that. But interesting slate, nonetheless. 14 gamer on Tuesday. Tuesday typically the biggest day of baseball. So of course, let's put an MLB trade deadline on that day as well, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to talk some DFS. But before we get to tonight's DFS breakdown here, let's give a quick shout out to our friends, Real Time Fantasy Sports. Go to rtsports.com/alarm. Use promo code ALARM23. New users will get a 100% deposit match up to $200. They have a great DFS pick'em game there. So, James, let's go ahead and give our RT Sports DFS pick'em plays of the day. taking a look here at the RT Sports DFS Pick'em board. We were so close once again last night, James. We went 2 for 3.
3 for 4. 3 for 4
3 for
last
4.
night.
3 for 4. If we did the
mulligan, we should have went with the mulligan option.
If we did the mulligan option, we would have cashed, but we did no mulligans. And Fernando Tatis could not get it done in Coors Field, sadly. But back to the well we go. We have a couple of props here today that we can target. And I have one that I want to lead us off with here. We're going to be going to the Milwaukee-Washington game here. Yes, I understand that Jaime Candelario is no longer on the Nationals. Big sad. But that's not going to stop me playing from CJ Abrams more than half a run tonight. This is a team that does not strike out. Freddie Peralta is a guy that gives up a lot of runs if he's not missing bats. And since I don't expect him to miss many a bat tonight, we should see guys get on base. We know Abrams can certainly do the damage all himself, whether it be from the home run ball or he gets on base and he steals second and then scores on Wayne Thomas or Joey Meneses here, driving him in. Dom Smith maybe tonight. He's in the middle of the lineup there for them. So started off today. Let's go CJ Abrams more than half a run.
I like that. I'm also going to go with the run variety here, John. But I'm going to go to our good friend George Springer, and I'm going to go less than half a run for George Springer. Over his last 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, Sean. You know how many hits George Springer has over that span?
Is it 0?
It is 0 hits.
Yeah.
He has been on base twice actually, over that span. He has scored 2 runs in that span. He has scored 3 runs in his last 10 games, in which he's gone 1 for 39. And yeah, he has 6 walks over that span, but they've dropped him in the order. He is getting less at bats per game. Their lineup became a lot less potent with the loss of Bo Bichette yesterday. So I'm going to go less than half a run for George Springer. I am not confident in him at all right now.
I would like to stay in that game. I imagine that RT Sports lets you pick props from the same game. I would venture.
Yeah, as long as it's not
hitter versus pitcher, right?
Yeah, as long as it's
okay. So let's go Ryan Mountcastle here today, more than half a run. Ryan Mountcastle was my home run call of the day on the Better Morning Show at plus 500. Ryan Mountcastle this year has absolutely hammered left-handed pitching. More importantly, left-handed pitching on the road, because we know that Camden Yards has been a little bit of an offensive detriment to their hitters. Against left-handed pitching on the road this season, Ryan Mountcastle has a 500 ISO. So we have the returning Ryu tonight here, making his season debut. Let's go Ryan Mountcastle hitting second tonight for the O's, more than the half a run score.
Let's cut it at 3. Let's do 3. Give the people 3.
I have more. I have more.
You got more? All right, let's run. If we're gonna run more, I'm gonna give. We're gonna utilize the tool that we have for us with the mulligan.
You don't want to go for the 40x tonight?
Well, what do you got? Let's see. What do we got?
Ozzie Albies more than half a run. We got Ozzie Albies here against Patrick Sandoval. Team totals at 5.5 for the day, anyways. His hits, runs, and RBI props at 2.5 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. And tell me he's not scoring a run tonight with a 2.5 hits, runs, and RBI prop? I don't think so. We're going to go more than half the run here for Ozzie Albies. I'm going to stay in the same game. I'm going to go Ronald Acuna over more than 1.5 total bases. Again, we're going more than 1.5 total bases. Ronald Acuna here with the matchup. Same thing against Patrick Sandoval. The man is an absolute dynamic player. And last night he went over. How often does our guy Ronald Acuna go over? Not too often.
Once a month, maybe?
Yeah. So I'm going to go Ronald Acuna more than the 1.5 total bases here. I need a capper. Let's see if we can find a live capper here to get us over the hump here, James. Let's see. What are we thinking here tonight? Do a quick little look. See, they don't give us anything against Lance Lynn. Smart on their behalf.
What do you think? Okay, let's hear it.
More than 5.5 fantasy points against Jose Quintana.
I was going to the same game.
Okay, what was your play?
Going Quintana strikeouts.
Under strikeouts? I don't hate that.
Like, you think under? Because, like, it's very borderline, that number. The Royals are obviously better against lefties, but it's not by much. Like, they kind of suck against everyone. I do kind of like Bobby Witt more, though.
More than 5.5 fantasy points. Guy that can do it with a swing, can do it with a stolen bag there. So there's our 40Xer. CJ Abrams, more than half a run. George Springer, less than half a run. Ryan Mountcastle, more than half a run. Ozzie Albies, more than half a run. Ronald Acuna, more than 1.5 total bases. And Bobby Witt, more than 5.5 fantasy points here. 40Xer. We're doing it tonight. Let's go get paid here, James.
That's by my calculations in today's day and age, that's about 10 Chipotle bowls I could probably get with that $200 right there, John.
You know I don't eat Chipotle, but I'm happy for you. Happy for you.
I'll send you half for your if you eat Moe's. Like, what a
welcome to Moe's.
Welcome. Well, John, we didn't mention this, but you guys got to go to realtime or rtsports.com/alarm. And first-time depositors get 100% instant match up to $200 using code ALARM23. Did you know that?
I did. Not only did I know that, which means basically you can play what we just put out there for free because they're matching your deposit. So you can take whatever you're depositing, put that bonus money on today's play. It's a free play basically because they're matching for you, and then go ahead and take it down there. Mark being mean in the chat. Come on, Mark. I invited you to my wedding and everything, man. And then we have they have their fantasy football championship there. They have their best ball championship going on there, so you can use some of those funds that we're winning tonight with our 40X play down at RT Sports, real-time fantasy sports. I'll go check all that out here today. Let's switch it back over. Going to talk a little MLB DFS slate here today. Looking at DraftKings main slate tonight. Going over to the pitcher spot here. Actually, before we get into the positional breakdown, talk to me about Vegas here, James. Any notable spreads or totals we're looking at?
Well, we do have Coors and a much higher over-under. Yesterday, it closed at 11.5. Today, it's up at 12.5. That is because the pitching matchup tonight is an interesting one. Peter Lambert going for the Colorado Rockies. I don't think anyone expected the last 11 innings of Peter Lambert to be scoreless, actually 14 innings, but here we are. And the Padres announced they're going with an opener in Pedro Avila. He's thrown 5 innings this year and 48 pitches was his max. So, right. We shouldn't expect Avila to go too long, but he has looked good in his 2 outings, despite not going too far into games. But 12.5 implied runs there, 9.5 implied runs in a couple places, including Chicago, Texas. As you mentioned, Jake Berger was traded from the White Sox. A little less offense maybe in that game, at least from one side of things. Mets, Royals, 9.5. Big, heavy lean on the over in that game. And then that's really it. Those are like the only notable things. We do have another weather game in Coors, by the way, John.
Last night's game was delayed for like 3 hours, right?
Dude, I messaged you because after we got the reports that it's not looking good, I was like, let me just fade it. And I played all Houston, who couldn't do anything against Syndergaard, and then everything against the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of Rays, as I told you, they were my contrarian stack, and it worked out. But at 11 o'clock, they're like, game will start at 11. I'm like, 11 o'clock? What are we doing here? Just doubleheader tomorrow. Yeah. But that didn't happen. So got to think that if yesterday's weather was projected to be worse, they're going to play this game, no issue. But it remains to be seen because our good friend Kevin Roth over at RotoGrinder is suggesting that there's still postponement on the table.
Yeah. So again, we'll pay attention to that. Also, maybe some pop-up storms in Kansas City here tonight. But overall, looking okay for that game to go off, which is good because I kind of like that game. from the Royals perspective here tonight. I know you mentioned maybe being in on Quintana. We'll talk some pitching right now. Spencer Strider, Framber Valdez, and Lopez here. Gallen and Eflin, your guys over 10K. We talked extensively about Strider just being able to pitch through the earned runs. Strikeouts now over double digits in 4 straight. 12.5, he is expensive. There is value on the slate here tonight. Is he just your plug it in and figure it out the rest?
Yeah. I got nothing much else to add. I mean, his strikeout prop's like 10 tonight.
Yeah.
Like it's actually double digits. So
it's 9.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook, and it's minus 135. So they're like, they're saying 10 plus is coming.
Yeah, so. And like nobody's striking out more against right-handed pitching right now. Yep. Is Ohtani gonna beat him? Maybe. He's allowed a lot of home runs, but like, will anybody be on base during those home runs or singular? Like, probably not. So
it doesn't even matter if they're.
Yeah,
he gives up 3 runs, 13 strikeouts in 7 innings. It's still 30. It just doesn't matter. So like, I don't see a need to really play any of the other 10K starters tonight. Like, I just don't find myself going there. I mean, obviously, if you don't have the money to spend all the way up, Lopez probably looks pretty good at 10-8 against St. Louis here tonight. But I don't really care for. I mean, Framber's 15 earned the last 3 starts for him. I don't know current form that. Eflin against the Yankees probably is good. I said this on the Better betting show, and Howard Bender was watching and got mad at me, but only the A's have fewer hits this season than the Yankees. So swallow that one if you're a Yankees fan, James. Nobody on the Yankees is hitting the baseball. So Eflin could pay off a 10-3 tag, but the floor feels kind of low-ish in this spot. So, I'm just not really going there. It's Strider, and then I'm looking in the mid-tier range here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, the way, based on my build, Strider has been SP1, and then it's been moving down, taking shots elsewhere. Zach Gallen is getting some ownership in Vegas. He's one of 5 pitchers in double figures. 5, just for context. There's not a lot of people getting ownership, and we'll talk about it. There's 2 pitchers getting all the ownership tonight. Spencer Strider, and
Lance Lynn, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny that person is who else is getting ownership until we get there. But Zach Gallen is one of 5 getting double figure ownership. San Francisco's been kind of underwhelming of late. If your name isn't Wilmer Flores,
sure.
Wilmer Flores has been awesome. No one else really has. Jock Peterson's been okay. Conforto's been okay. Lamonte Wade's fallen off. So has JD Davis. They're without Estrada. Luciano hasn't done anything yet at the major league level. So I'm okay getting to Gallen, but we talked about it last night. The ceiling has not been there, and we're still paying a premium for him.
Yeah.
I would say you're right on the Eflin front, but twice this year he has 0 strikeouts in a game.
I know.
Not only and one of those outings he went 7 innings and he didn't strike anyone. I know the Yankees again struck out 1 billion times last night, and Aaron Boone continues to be positive about these at bats, even though they're striking out 50 times a game. It's we're having great at bats. It's no, we're not.
Yeah.
They're not. So there is some upside for Eflin, but I largely agree. It's Strider. I can see where you're getting Lopez just for strikeout upside. Plus, St. Louis lost Brendan Donovan today, who's been leading off for the year.
Traded Paul DeYoung. Brendan Donovan, so.
Yeah, so obviously a lesser lineup there for St. Louis, but it's largely I've largely punted my SP2, truthfully. Not even
that's how I feel, right? So listen, we go down into this mid-tier range. There are guys that I think are usable tonight in the middle range here. I do like Brian Bayo at $8,900. I think this game, as I've mentioned in the past, presents him with a potential ceiling strikeout game. Look at Seattle and their strikeout numbers against righties overall in the year, over the last month. They're not good. They're right
Nick
up.
Pivetta, i.e. Nick Pivetta last night.
Pivetta last night, what do you have, 10 strikeouts?
10 strikeouts,
so, again, Bayo not the biggest strikeout guy this year. He certainly has the capability and skill set to be a strikeout guy as he kind of develops Last couple starts for him, obviously been a little rough with the home run ball. We know Seattle has guys that can hit home runs, but they also strike out a lot. So, and we don't know who's going to be in this lineup in an hour. They could be trading Teoscar Hernandez. They traded AJ Pollock already. Like, there could be guys moving on from there. So he's $8,900. He's probably a little expensive for people to want to play tonight. You have the roster ship in front of you. You can let me know if that's right or wrong, but I don't mind. I don't mind taking a look at Bayo to be a little contrarian here this evening. And then we talked a lot on the podcast, like Lance Lynn draws Oakland here, Dodgers debut. DraftKings Sportsbook doesn't even have any props out for this game. They're just like, we're not giving you Oakland props against Lance Lynn tonight. Either he gets hit or he doesn't, but you can't beat us with it. I've been refreshing constantly to see like what they would have like Bladay's home run prop at, and like they're just not giving it to me. They're not putting it on the board. So we know he strikes guys out. We also know that the Dodgers traded the A's traded Jace Peterson away. You know, so there's one less lefty in the lineup. I don't know. I mean,
this one is tough for you, huh?
I kind of want to play him, but I know it's a bad idea. I mean, we play the 3 max. He'll be in one of my 3 maxes.
So I'm looking to see if FanDuel has anything for us for I don't see anything. So yeah, he's 43% owned projected, John, on a 14-game slate. 43%. We said this on the podcast yesterday. Every slate Lance Lynn is popular. And every slate, outside of like 3, he's been disappointing this year. If you're playing 20 lineups, are you under the field at 42% or are you around the field at 42%? If you're playing 20 lineups,
I have to be under. It's Lance Lynn.
I know. I mean, that puts you at like you're playing like what? 8?
He's 40%.
Lineups.
If I'm playing a 20 max,
you're playing Lance Lynn and 8
I'm playing
of your
4. He's in 4.
So he's in 20% of your lines.
Yeah. So
you're half the field.
Half the field.
What about Strider at 42%? You're over.
I'm playing probably
60%, 70%.
Yeah, probably 70%.
Yeah, I agree. Because the only other there's nobody else that like
because Strider's so unique that he can give up runs and still come through. So
yeah, and we've seen Lynn strike out a bunch of guys, like, but he's 15 fantasy points where like Strider will get you 25.
Yeah.
Like I am good with Lance Lynn. I'm probably in the middle. I'm probably like 30% Lynn.
DraftKings Sportsbook just doesn't have any props for that game. I know Mark said his strikeout prop is at 8. Maybe that's on like PrizePicks or something here tonight. But I don't see anything on DraftKings Sportsbook for a prop on him. So let's see what PrizePicks has for maybe like earned run prop or something on him. Because I'm just curious to see like where these projections are at. Let's see. Earned runs allowed. Where is it? Earned runs allowed. Do we have a Lynn prop? Only strikeouts. That's the only pitching prop they got for him is 8 strikeouts. So, which feels right. It feels right. Oakland's not a good team. So, yeah, I'm gonna get to him, but I don't feel good about it. I'm gonna be half what the field is. So
I will say this, John. I'm looking at FanDuel, and they have a daily strike leader bet. Lynn has the second best odds of the day
behind Strider.
Yeah, Strider's plus 120. Lynn is plus 550. He has the second best odds to lead the slate in strikeouts. Sure. Which really I think is right.
There's really not a lot else. I mean, we discussed, so they're not trading Miles Mikolas. He's going to start here tonight. We talked about pitchers that have possible ceiling strikeout matchups. Minnesota obviously presents that to any starting pitcher that takes them out for them. What version of if Mikolas shows up today, your guess is as good as mine. But he had that 10 strikeout game against Kansas City earlier this year. He's got a 7 strikeout game. He's got a couple 6 strikeout games. So we're all there. So
And Waldichuk officially starting for Oakland.
Yeah, no opener for him tonight because he was on the slate anyway. So no opener for Waldichuk.
No opener for Waldichuk. I like Mikolas. I think there's some upside. Obviously, probably goes into this game more clear-minded, knowing he's not going to be traded, or at least he thinks he's not going to be traded. The field is getting to Andrew Heaney here, which I could see now that Berger's gone. I don't hate that getting to and you look at the White Sox lineup today, like Anderson
Heaney's
has been good.
Minus 130 and the under 2.5 earned runs for Heaney today.
It's a pretty good spot. I mean, Moncada hitting second, he has not done anything. Obviously, they had Jake Berger hitting seventh, so that lineup is going to need adjustment. I don't think the new White Sox lineup has come out since the trade. Let's see. No, it hasn't come out since the trade, and they had Jake Berger hitting seventh. So obviously, there's going to be some adjustments in the lineup. But Benintendi hitting fifth, Andrew Vaughn sixth. Like, it's not like a good lineup outside of the middle portion. I think
the problem is that like Roberts and Eloy could just ruin his night. So
yeah, because the home run because what Andrew Heaney is. He's a fly ball pitcher who gives up home runs. But like again, it's kind of like the Strider thing. There's strikeout upside here, and if Robert and Eloy both hit solo shots, and that's the only thing that happens tonight. 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned and a win is pretty good start.
Did we just have this? I feel like we just had this conversation. Did Heaney just play the White Sox recently? I think he did. Was that the 6-19 game? I'm feeling deja vu.
I think I played the White Sox. And I'm pretty sure he gave up a home run to Berger and to Robert.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little deja vu here with this Heaney White Sox discussion.
What was the date? On that?
6-19.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Jake Berger. No, over. Let's see.
Was it Eloy and Robert just tagged them early and that was it? Maybe.
Eloy or Luis Robert did hit a home run in that game.
Was it early, like right away?
I do not know. I'm just looking through, and Eloy did not. But like, regardless, Luis Robert did.
Right.
Maybe Vaughn.
I'm just
Andrew Vaughn.
Okay,
I'm
having weird deja vu with this discussion. First inning, no, they didn't hit the homer till the 6th. So maybe he was rolling for a while and then he gave up the runs. But anyways,
that line.
Yeah, I'm in.
Live.
I'm in on Heaney. I like it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the field's getting to Oviedo. I think that's a little interesting given his inconsistencies, but has shown a pretty good ceiling. His 2 of 3, 21 and 30 fantasy points in 2 of 3. He struggles with lefties. We've documented the Tigers' lefties stink outside of Riley Green. Yeah. And then I'm going to ask, and you could yes or no, Jose Quintana.
I'm a no.
Okay.
I like Kansas City tonight. Okay. So, all right, catcher spot then. Guys at the top, we know them well. Murphy and Will Smith, both getting lefties here, 55 and 54. If you want to go there, you certainly can do it. Adley Rutschman gets Ryu at 5K. Again, if you want to spend up, shoot for the moon, go for it. Cal Raleigh homered twice last night. Brian Bayo's been giving up some home runs. $4,300 for him. So anybody up in that top end range, those are the guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm pissed. Wrong catcher went double down for the Mariners last night.
Yeah. Austin Hedges just traded to the Rangers because obviously Jonah Heim's been injured.
Placed on the IL. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Murphy against a lefty, but Murphy's been pretty bad lately, so maybe a fade. I'm okay. This feels like a spot where we don't need to spend up. Maybe Cal Raleigh is like the most expensive. Maybe Salvi the most expensive. I'd go.
Okay. Kybert's hitting 5th down here, $3,700. Garver's hitting 6th. Again, talking about getting that Rangers lineup exposure. If you're not in on Schulten's here, $3,300. Any other value plays for you? Then do you like Furman hitting 5th tonight, $2,800?
Yes. I think Furman hitting 5th is really, really good. The Pirates Endy Rodriguez is checking in as one of the most popular, the most popular catcher play of the night. I think people are just punting a guy who's coming off 25 fantasy points just a few games ago.
And he's
Um,
$2,100. So.
and he's $2,100. So he is the most popular catcher
Okay.
projected tonight, and I would probably go into that lane as well. Ryan Jeffers, Mark, also interesting. He's also getting some ownership tonight. He's also just been kind of good in general. Like at the
I've always kind of liked Ryan Jeffers, but it was usually when a lefty was on the mound, so getting the righty changes some things a little bit. But I mean, 355, 911 OPS to your point, 3 stolen bases the last 10. I don't hate it. If you want to go there, that's fine by me. I'm trying to see if there's any other value. Not really.
You play El Gary. El Gary's still in cores if you wanted to, obviously.
Sure. Danny Jansen always has a ton of power. He's in the lineup for the Blue Jays. Possibilities going on there. First base position. How are you approaching it tonight? A lot of top-end talent with some great matchups to target.
You can play Ohtani. You can play Olsen, who's homering every day again. You could play Freeman, who hits lefties as well as he's hit righties, and is hitting 385 over his last 10.
Bellinger.
Bellinger's in a league.
We have Candelario playing first, too, by the way. A little interesting Cubs lineup there.
Where's he batting tonight?
Sixth.
Huh? Interesting. That's it. Good lineup. I told you I liked the Cubs earlier in the year. I'm happy that it's starting to pay off. Yeah, I mean, I think you could play any of the top 3 and plus Bellinger, who you don't have to decide one or the other because you can play him in the outfield. Unfortunately, Nathaniel Lowe is going to stand out. He's been really, really good of late. Still, probably too cheap for how good he's been. Plus, he gets Schultz and likely the White Sox bullpen since Schultz is not
power, not what it was from a home run perspective last year, but everything else is starting to come right back to where he was. Batting average keeping up to 300, OPS at 836. So you got to think at some point the home run ball is going to start flying his way as we get into these warmer Texas months.
Yeah, and they slowly are. 2 home runs over his last 10. I think it's like 2 over his last 7. No, 2 over his last 10.
Kind of bearing the lead for me because Mountcastle is like one of my favorite plays on the board here tonight. Again, he was my home run call today on the Better Morning Show. I said if you want to, I know you hate smaller sample size splits, so I would talk about it all the time. But on the road versus lefties this year, he has a 500 isolated power number, which is massive. So give me all the Ryan Mountcastle against lefties I can handle. Dan Servadidio on the Better Betting Show pointed out that Mountcastle also a Blue Jays killer. If you look at his career numbers against Toronto, just ridiculous numbers there against him. So against them. So I like Mountcastle here at $3,600 against a returning Rue here.
Yeah, I mean, he's hit lefties well historically, and Ryu hasn't pitched in a while, man. So, just because he was really good pre-Tommy John doesn't mean he's going to return to that form anytime soon. So.
I agree. Anybody else for you down here in this 3,500 range?
3,500
or below, guys under 30.
I mean, again, if you do want to target Heaney, Andrew Vaughn should be in the lineup. Tristan Cassis is fine. That's probably it. Kevin Newman hits lefties well, but Justin Steele, no thanks.
Any Brandon Belt against Bradish here? No.
Nah, Bradish has been
okay.
Other than his last start, he's been pretty good.
Sounds good to me. Dom Smith down here at $2,600. I know you mentioned him
hitting 4th
in the past. So, all right, moving on over to second base here. Josh in the chat saying Berger traded the Marlins. Yeah, sad for us because we're big Jake Berger fans here, but good for us because we also like Andrew Heaney tonight. So, takes a guy out of the lineup that has tremendous home run potential. So we look forward to my Jorge Soler, Jake Berger.
Exactly what they needed, dude.
640 lineup stacks because Marlins never play on the main slate. So second base here. Waldichuk is starting tonight, so Mookie Betts leading off. 6,100 of those second base outfield eligibility. Mookie Betts, a guy that has a 400 ISO versus lefties on the year. Simeon against Schultz. Altuve. Ozzie Albies, a guy that hammers lefties to use my home run play on the Better Betting Show. So talk to me about this top tier second base group.
Yeah, I mean, Bet Simeon Albies stand above the rest for me. Albies has historically been good against lefties. You look from the start of his career until now, he has been significantly better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. Simeon gets Schultz. Another guy who just like hasn't lived up to the price tag. We know the upside though.
Yeah.
28 fantasy points just the other day. So like still, hitting atop the order. And Mookie obviously gets well to suck and has massive numbers against lefties. So you can play any of the three. I actually like Albies the most, but you could play any of those three.
Okay. Moving down into like the under 5K range. Horner hitting second at 48. Dude, Whit Merrifield, man, just
it's insane. He homered. I know you saw that homer yesterday, and you're like, God damn, this guy is so good.
Unbelievable. Brandon Lau homered last night as well, a guy that we were in on. Now he's got Rodon today, so not really a matchup, just calling out the fact that we liked him. He homered. It worked. Mid-tier second baseman, who's jumping off the board for you?
Nobody.
Not a one?
No, I mean, I think there's like Ha-Seong Kim is in course. Obviously, that's default. Merrifield, you mentioned, not playing Brandon Lau, unfortunately. We can't play Berger anymore. Rengifo's been really good if you want to be really different. He's leading off again. We know Edouard Julien had been really good. He's really struggling of late after that like scorching hot stretch after the break that had him hitting over 300. There's interesting value like Jordan Westberg has been pretty good of late. He's stealing a couple more bases, 2 in his last 6 games.
Yep.
We've seen some power out of him, but like nothing overly interesting. I don't know if you disagree, but
I mean, not 100%. I mean, again, like Matt Duffy's on here, min price 2K hitting 6th against Quintana tonight. Like if you're kind of in on KC, you want a very cheap stack to help you pay up for, Bobby Witt. Like I think maybe you could take a peek there.
Oh, Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, 2600.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers, 2600, right? So we'll see if that lineup comes out. Made his debut last night. Does he play 2 days in a row? Let's hope. Because he gets a good spot here tonight as well. So I'm in. And if Kevin Biggio finds his way into a lineup, I like that.
You just can't help yourself with Kevin.
He's good. I like
Trade him. I'm
not gonna trade him. All right. Third base position. Ellie, Riley, Ramirez, Machado, Bregman, Arenado, and Chapman and Devers are your 5K range. Riley against Sandoval, though, gonna be the top play.
Yeah, that's easy. He is when he's going this good. It's easy to get to him. I think Machado is obviously pretty close behind. I know he had an average game yesterday, got on base 3 times, didn't do much like damage, but he did reach base 3 times. He continues to have a decent floor. So Machado would be second for me, but Riley's the top dog. And then that's probably the tier after that for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think moving down, there's guys that we can take a look at. I still like Josh Jung here against Schultz at 46.
Yep.
McMahon against a righty here in Coors at 45. I think is going to find his way into some lineups for me tonight. Still like Jeimer, better lineup now, hitting 6
much better
against Lively. So I'm there at $3,900. I think that looks pretty good. And then you liked Paredes last night. He hits better against lefties. Would you run it right back here with Paredes against Rodon?
So he's actually this year hitting better against righties.
Okay.
He's doing fine against lefties, because last year he raked against lefties. So if you look at both seasons, 238 ISO leads the team. It's almost a 200 plate appearance sample. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather like one off him than anything else, but he's a powerful dude and he's hitting a lot of home runs. That's why I liked him to go yard yesterday. He definitely could go yard tonight. I think, a pretty popular play could be Maikel Garcia here. $3,600 leading off for Kansas City. Hits in 4 straight games. RBIs in 3 of 4. Runs scored. 3 runs in his last 4. 3 extra base hits. So he's doing a little bit of everything. Maikel Garcia leading off 3,600.
Yeah, again, he's one of the guys that hits lefties really well. And one of the reasons I do like the Royals here tonight, kind of can get the top of that lineup into some action here and get involved. So I'm in. I like that a lot. Anybody else for you?
nothing that I see right now.
Okay, that's fine by me. Shortstops. We talked about some of these guys here, but Bobby Witt is the one I wanted to just jump right to. Hitting second, 349, 945 OPS, 2 homers, 2 stolen bases the last 10. 9 RBI through 2 of the last 3 games here. 2 4-hit games against Minnesota. Hitting better against lefties. Gets Quintana. I'm all in on that one.
Yeah, it's hard pressed to not jump at what Bobby Witt can do. What do you think? 30-50 by year's end? One of like 2 guys that has 30-50?
30 might be a little bit of a
Maybe
stretch.
3?
He needs to really get on his horse for the home runs, but 25 25.
Think he can get? You think he can get
a ceiling? Probably
40?
I'd say 25, 45.
25, 45?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say that's probably
going to continue that.
There. Listen, I said on the show this afternoon, like, is Acuna going to go 40, 70? Like, is like, he's on 51 stolen bases already. So
yeah, he might get 80. I mean, don't stop now. Get 40, 80, dude.
Yeah. Better boss here at first base and Heaney is starting pitching. I agree. We're definitely in on Heaney tonight, and Dom is a cheap enough play in DFS tonight to get him in lineups as well. So if you're not going Bobby Witt again, that's my number 1 guy tonight. Where are you finding yourself going at shortstop here?
Lindor comes into this game hot, homers in 2 straight games. So I'd go Lindor, if not going all the way up. Nico Horner's interesting because he's been so good lately in really every facet of the game, stealing bases, hitting for power. Orlando Arcia, 4,400. I think he's a forgotten man for Atlanta a lot of the time, but he's had a great season in the midst of a 934 OPS over his last 10 games. So I'd go Arcia.
I love Rosario hitting cleanup tonight for the Dodgers, by the way.
Yeah, that is very interesting. He hits lefties, so it's a very good price
$3,800 in the middle of that Dodgers lineup against Waldesuk here. I like that a lot. If I'm not going Bobby Witt here tonight.
Agreed. On the year, 170. Actually, this is last year and this year. 178 ISO, 357 WOBA. 4th on the team already.
Yeah, no, he's been hammering them. So those are the 2 shortstops I was going at. Not really looking.
Abrams. Abrams at 4K.
Yeah, Abrams at 4K works as well. As a contrarian guy, because I don't think anyone's playing Washington here tonight, but we know he can do it all, and of course we need him to come through for a 40xer tonight to get through there and score a run. So I'm in. Moving on over to the outfield spot, 15 minutes till deadline, and really no moves yet. James, a little surprised. Red Sox, Yankees, my team, your team, still nothing. Not a thing happening here between these two organizations. We'll see if any final moves get pulled.
We did get an update just now from Morosi. The Mets are actively searching team negotiations on multiple players: Tommy Pham, Adam Ottavino, Brooks Raley. So expect fireworks the next 20 minutes.
So
at least for the Mets.
Some relievers moving and a 4th outfielder. So,
yeah.
All right. Outfielders, speaking of, Ronald Acuna, Shohei Ohtani, right there in our face, $67 and $6,600. We touched on Ohtani at first base. Strider's been giving up home runs, so I'm not afraid of Ohtani here tonight. I don't know if I could afford Ohtani and Strider, but if you could, I don't, generally pitch one guy against the other. But if you're not using Strider, I'm not just avoiding Ohtani either because of the matchup.
Yeah, I think if I'm not playing Strider, I'm not stacking Angels probably, but I would 100%, if I'm playing 20 lineups, have some Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's the best player in baseball. So,
Mark wants to know if we got any rostership projections here for Texas. He likes the idea of maybe an Adolis Janikowski play tonight.
Texas coming in 4, 5, 6, 7, about the 8th highest rostered team, but less than 6%. So, San Diego overwhelmingly the most popular stack of the night. Mets, Dodgers,
second at 3K.
Yeah, nobody's really playing them, so it's a pretty good spot.
can get a cheap Nathaniel Lowe, an Adolis Garcia, and then a Janikowski there, and call it a day. So not too bad. Not too bad for Texas for going there. We talked bets already. We're in on Heaney, but we know Robert, big power against lefties. Tucker and Jordan. Is Jordan in the lineup? I don't see Jordan. Nope. No Jordan tonight? I just blind to it. Doesn't look like he's in the lineup. So Alvarez.
No Jordan. Yeah, no Jordan tonight.
Okay. Josh Naylor just scratched as well for Texas on a side injury, it says.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
no trade yet, but there. Tucker. So Tucker's there, obviously. If you're not in on Rodon or Rosarena, Bellinger, we've discussed. Anybody else in this upper tier group?
I would play Luis Robert if I'm not playing Andrew Heaney as a one-off.
Okay. I don't mind that. Let's see. Under 5K, where do you start? I mean, Harris against Sandoval, I know it's lefty, but I'm still kind of okay with that play. Green's 45 against Oviedo.
Riley Green. And Osuna would probably be the Braves outfielder of that tier I would choose. He's been hitting for a lot of power lately, 4 home runs in his last 4 games. So he's firmly in play. Newt Bar, I think, is okay leading off. He's been really good. Yeah, Chaz has been insane over the last month.
Duran for me tonight too at 4K.
Yeah, his first at bat was a doozy. Hit, stolen base, scored on a wild throw.
Tommy Pham traded to the Diamondbacks, by the way.
I mean, that is an interesting spot because they already had too many outfielders. So
they had a lot of outfielders.
I'm wondering if
they needed a right-handed outfielder though. Carroll, McCarthy, and Thomas all lefties.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. And Fletcher in the minors. I'm wondering if Thomas or Dominic Fletcher are going to the Mets because that wouldn't surprise me. Like you said, they have 4 lefty outfielders. So we don't know who the trade is yet, but Tommy Pham for one of those lefty outfielders makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, it's not McCarthy. That would be super upsetting.
That would be that'd be a weird sell.
Why? Would it?
You'd give up McCarthy for Tommy Pham.
Well, we have a passing. Let's see what the passing follow-up here is.
I don't have
no.
I don't have the details of the deal.
Yeah, nothing on the details.
We'll get it. We'll get it at some point. That would be. I mean,
my guess is Thomas. My guess is Thomas or Fletcher are included in this deal, just given what they. No, Josh, he was not scratched. They are going to have to come out with a new lineup because Jake Berger was traded. Jake Berger was originally in the White Sox lineup, now no longer in the White Sox lineup, so they have to re-release it.
Yep, he'll be playing tonight. Unless he's got a red circle on his name, then he's not gonna. Then he's in the lineup there.
Dodgers are talking to the Red Sox about James Paxton.
Yeah, obviously after the Erod trade fell through, it's time to get us back for the Mookie Betts deal, right? So, I think you owe us a few prospects in return. Maybe I'll take Miguel Vargas. Send me Miguel Vargas for James Paxton. We'll call it a day. And we'll move on from there. All right. Other outfielders down here. We talked to mid-range here. Josh, don't worry about Luis Robert. He's there. He'll be playing. Again, they're updating it. Sal Frelick, $3,900 going with Christian Yelich. We're good with that pair here tonight. We have to be playing Oakland lefties, right? If we're not going Lance Lynn, they're not attractive, but we have to at least be interested in some of these guys. No.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't Geloff a lefty too, right?
No, Geloff's a righty.
Okay. So Patino traded to the White Sox. Is that from the Berger deal? No, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay trading.
No, Luis Patino. He's actually that's an interesting. I wonder what's leaving. He's an interesting starter because he made a couple starts last year before an injury. Orioles close to acquiring Jack Flaherty. as well.
Okay.
As the flurry comes here, John. Jack Flaherty on his way to the Orioles, even though the Orioles need a left-handed starter because they still have all righties. They have no lefties. Interesting deal, the Flaherty deal. I still nothing on the. Yep, there it is. Passing officially finalizing a deal for Jack Flaherty officially to the Orioles. I'm sure they were disappointed when the Padres decided they weren't selling Blake Snell.
Right.
Back to the Oakland side of things.
Yeah.
Lefties that they have in their lineup, at least projected. Tony Kemp, JJ Bleday, who has a 187 ISO, 334 WOBA. Seth Brown, 242 ISO against righties, 345. Cody Thomas, outfielder. He's a left-handed bat, 167 ISO against lefties. And then Soderstrom, also a lefty. So they have 5 lefties projected in their lineup tonight. Probably wish there was more, but I'm okay getting to Oakland. Also, Brent Rooker was not included in that lineup, in this projected lineup. So
sure.
a little thump there.
We're in on Cubs value. We talked about that. I like Leotis hitting 9th tonight as well for some value in this lineup here. Austin Hayes hitting cleanup tonight against Ryu. Santander, nice. I'm in on tonight. So I definitely like the O's as a stack, Cubs as a stack here tonight. Carpenter hitting 4th at 3,600. I know he struggled lately, but will fit into those little plays if you're looking to go against get the lefties in that lineup for Riley Green and Carpenter as a mini stack. Anybody else for you in the outfield, value-wise or otherwise?
Yeah, Edward Olivares has been good against lefties. He's hitting 7th tonight against Jose Quintana. I know he's been a little subpar lately, but I would go there. That's just about it.
Okay.
Jake Bowers is leading off for what that's worth for the Yankees.
Yeah. All right. Give me your home run call today.
Home run call of the day. Who is yours? Are you going to go with Mountcastle or are you going to go with...
I'm going with Mountcastle, sticking with the consistency here today.
I don't know. Austin Riley, I'll take against Patrick Sandoval. I like that one.
Okay. Top stack.
I'm gonna go Texas as my top stack. I like Texas. I think Atlanta or Coors is the chalk answer there. I'm gonna go Texas.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta was my best bet of the day was Atlanta team total over 5.5 runs. So I'm gonna run Atlanta there with my top stack. My contrarian play today. Again, I like Baltimore a lot. I don't know how contrarian they're going to be against Ryu, but I do like the O's here this evening against Ryu making his debut.
Yeah, no one's playing him.
No one's playing him? Love it. You know what? I love playing the O's when nobody else does because that's basically the only time that I play the O's. What do you got for a contrarian play?
Let's go Oakland.
Still Oakland? I like it.
Sure, let's go Oakland. Let's go Oakland. Only because... And that's not saying I'm not playing Lance Lynn, because I'm playing Lance Lynn. But I'm also going to get some Oakland shares, because we've seen it 1,000 times. Like, Lance Lynn has been terrible all year against lefties. So give me some lefties against Lance Lynn.
All righty. Favorite value play, then we'll get a lineup, and then we'll get out of here.
Andrew Heaney as my value play.
Andrew Heaney is your value play. I like that. Mountcastle, because he's under 4K. So easy peasy. All right. Strider in. And Heaney down here. Catcher.
Do we have a Pittsburgh lineup yet? I would say Rodriguez if we do, or Jeffers.
Furman for now?
Yeah, we could plug Furman.
All right. First base, I want to go Mountcastle here.
Okay.
Mountcastle, 36. Second base.
I would say if we get to Albies, if we can't, probably like all the way down to Westberg.
Let's go Albies first. Shortstop, we'll see if we can get Witt. We're gonna need
go to Westberg at second because that will get us Riley at third. I like Austin Riley.
Okay.
61.
3,400 for 3 outfielders. We had some value down here.
Oof. Yeah. We had value. I mean, JJ Bleday, 3K. We're not playing Lance Lynn or Seth Brown are both free. We had Texas, Leody Taveras. We had Janikowski at 3K, hitting second.
Yeah, actually, Janikowski was good. I like that one. Janikowski and don't do Leody's.
Play Leody, and then we have
$4,200 outfielder Santander. Look how that worked. That worked out perfectly. All right, so just an example lineup for everybody here today. Again, we'll be in the Discord helping you guys out to roster lock. Stay tuned. Coming right up after this show, the MLB trade deadline show with Matt Sells and Colby Conway. We'll be breaking down all of today's trades and fantasy impact of those. So stick with the channel here after the DFS show ends. If you're not yet a Fantasy Lineup subscriber, get in, become an all-pro member. So it comes with a 7-day free trial. Comes with access to all of our premium content for both seasonal and DFS, both all sports, not just the MLB, but NBA, NFL, NHL, MMA, PGA, you name it, NASCAR. We cover it. All part of the All-Pro subscription package. Go to fantasyalarm.com/all-pro to get involved with that here today. Again, rundown of our lineup: Spencer Strider, Andrew Heaney, Freddie Furman, Mountcastle, Westberg, Riley, Bobby Witt, Janikowski, Leody Taveras, and Anthony Santander here. Right at the deadline, Middleton going to the Yankees, right-handed reliever from the White Sox.
Ooh, he's been really good this year. Not exactly like what I was expecting, but
a little bullpen help there for the Yankees. So that's today's show. James and I will be back tomorrow. Split slate day podcast for the early, live stream for the late. Good luck, everybody.